Hello everybody, welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel. Ladies and gentlemen, it is June 25th, 2017, Sunday morning, and waking up to quite a mess happening around the world. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, earthquake activity is pretty much off the chart. We've had a considerable amount of activity over the past 24 hours. The majority of this activity that you're seeing here has pretty much all occurred over the period of the last 12 hours. Now, these earthquakes are starting to get much bigger. A lot of these earthquakes are also getting much deeper. Now, some of the root cause, we've gone over this quite a bit with the physicist, and after conferring with her briefly this morning, once again, we're seeing a lot of activity on the sun. It doesn't look like much, but there is a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen. Very large coronal holes here, basically stretching all the way through the north to the south, if you want to call it that, on the sun. There is a small coronal hole opening and closing right around the equatorial region of the sun. This may impact us a little bit, but understanding what is happening right now, it's almost, you can't even put it into words, folks. I mean, some of the information that I'm going to go ahead and go over with you briefly, it's just amazing. And we did mention that all of this was going to start to occur going into the last few weeks of June. However, I didn't think things were going to get this bad. Now, this is the solar wind predictor. I show this quite a bit. And you could see right here where we started going through this stream of heavily charged particles from the sun. And this goes to the 23rd. You'll see the 24th, 25th of June, the 26th, all the way through the 30th. The fact of the matter is, once we get through this stream, well, there's another one coming right behind it. And from what I'm seeing, it's starting to look like it may be a little stronger. Now you can see here we've just passed this stream of heavily charged particles coming from the sun once again. We're already into the 26th, which would be tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and stretch this out just a little bit, and we're going to see right here. Follow my cursor. There's the sun. There's the next wave. The next wave will impact, well, let's just take a look real quick. Well, you could probably say between the 27th, 28th, and taking us all the way through, I would have to say the 30th. And the majority of this energy affects the Earth for about anywhere from 3 to 5 days after the stream passes. So all of this activity that you're seeing, ladies and gentlemen, will create situations on our globe all the way through probably July 5th. Looking at the magnetopause, if you followed us on the live stream yesterday with the doctor, you saw some absolutely crazy, erratic things happening with the magnetopause. This is our shield that is supposed to protect us from the solar radiation from the sun. It is absolutely collapsing non-stop. This has been going on now for many days, many days. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a critical situation, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you believe in Planet X or you don't. You have to believe in what is happening now to our magnetosphere. And I did mention, if anything happens where this magnetosphere is destroyed, this will wipe out all of us on this planet, and that is a fact. And just looking at some of the activity, as you can see here, we're going back to yesterday on the 24th. I mean, you are seeing such erratic movement. It's actually a little scary to see this happen. And we're going to go ahead and skip over to the solar wind going in from the 24th. This is around 10, 11 o'clock p.m. UTC time. I'm just going to go ahead and play this. Now, I stopped this right here because this is just absolutely insane. Solar wind at this point was reaching 632 kilometers per second. Not extremely fast, ladies and gentlemen. You know, whenever this number reaches around 800, you know, then you have to be concerned. But the amount of energy coming in is off the chart. I'll go ahead and play this for you so you can see what is happening. I mean, you could see the solar wind coming from the sun is so erratic, it's also being pushed backwards by another substellar wind behind the Earth, therefore bringing all of this back to us on the nighttime side of our planet. I mean, this is amazing to see something like this, but taking into consideration what is happening is very dangerous, very critical. And we are looking at some very, very extreme conditions, and these conditions are not going to change, as what I see, through the rest of this week coming up and going all the way into the first week of July 2017. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here, and we're looking at the magnetosphere right now. Once again, this is going into late yesterday, the 24th. Once again, look at this. This is just absolutely crazy. I haven't seen anything like this, maybe going back to 2012, 2014, and it wasn't even this bad. This is the worst that I've seen it. I'll go ahead and play this for you, and you can just see with your own eyes what is occurring. None of this is normal, and yes, all of us should be very, very concerned. And if any point in time that you think that there's nothing happening and there's nothing wrong, you better think again, because you're wrong. These are very, very extreme conditions, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sure if you are a loyal follower, you know exactly what you're looking at, and you know that you're looking at extreme conditions. Going into the GOES 13 X-ray satellite imaging of the sun. And this is pretty current. This is going into the 24th and the 25th today. And you can see this X-ray imagery from the GOES looking at the sun. Well, you can see it with your own eyes. It's not looking good. Massive coronal hole, northern hemisphere of the sun stretching all the way down through the equatorial region, the equator of the sun, and all the way down through the southern hemisphere of the sun, and more coming over from the left side. All of this, ladies and gentlemen, is impacting the Earth. Every bit of it. Every single bit of it. And this is going to be some of the main cause for what is happening. You know, we were talking about the substellar wind, the opposing wind coming from the dark side, the nighttime side of the Earth. And all of this energy being pushed in from behind the Earth and making its way directly towards our planet, therefore collapsing and flattening out our magnetosphere. You know, the only thing that we can hope is all of this calms down. I hope it calms down very quickly, because the earthquake situation around the world is just, it's getting out of control. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to update this while we are on this video, and I want to see if anything new has occurred. And these newer earthquakes will appear in red. This one is only 78 minutes ago, and it was only at a depth of 10 kilometers. Very, very shallow. However, some of these other earthquakes here in Ecuador, this was almost into the mantle, 90 kilometers. But this one was well into our mantle. This was 182.54 kilometers deep there in Argentina. That's right probably at the base of the Andes, this very large mountain range that stretches all the way down to the tip of South America. But we are seeing multiple earthquakes over here in Japan, the Philippines, more in the Philippines, Indonesia. This is north of, is it East Timor? 8 hours ago, another magnitude 4.9 the mid-Indian ridge out here. And again, very, very shallow, only 10 kilometers deep. Now, there was another earthquake in Mozambique, Africa, which was, I think, a magnitude 5.8. Again, very rare for these earthquakes to occur here in Africa or anywhere on the African continent. But this is probably 4 or 5 earthquakes over the past, maybe 6, 7 weeks, 8 weeks that we see occurring in this this region of the African continent near the south. So all of this is very, very alarming, ladies and gentlemen. What's happening on this side of the globe right here, you just have to pay very close attention to all of this. A lot of activity in California, Oklahoma, kind of a little bit of a rare earthquake here in Tennessee, Washington. No information coming out on Yellowstone because I'm not using the USGS. I'm sure there's been more activity there. A magnitude 4 in Rio Deli, California. Let's take a little closer look at what happened here. This was actually on land south of Fortuna. Very shallow, only 8.4 kilometers. You can guarantee that people felt this. Just absolutely no doubt. So things are going to get worse. They're not going to get any better. We have a 4.7 magnitude earthquake here in the Aleutian Islands. Again, shallow, 36 kilometers deep. Anybody around this region, they would have definitely felt that. Another earthquake off the coast of Mexico. Again, very shallow, magnitude 4.3, only 10 kilometers deep. Seems to be some activity over here. I believe this will be Puerto Rico. Oh, here's an update. Well, there's your update right there. Shallow, 10-kilometer earthquake, magnitude 2.8 in Australia. And Australia's been having some quakes periodically, bouncing back and forth from one end of the country to the next. No earthquakes are showing over here in New Zealand, not on this map. However, they are getting bombarded daily with earthquakes from one end of the island all the way to the other. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to continue. It is going to get worse. I wish I had good news for you to say that everything is going to calm down, but the fact of the matter is, it's not going to calm down. It's going to increase. And I would say that we're going to be experiencing some heavy movement on this planet for the next 7 to 10 days. So if you live in an earthquake zone, make sure you're prepared. The same thing's going to apply with volcanic activity. Volcanic activity is on the rise. It's been on the rise for the last 6 months. So we are probably going to have a live stream with our physicist early afternoon today, this Sunday. I think it's definitely warranted. There is a lot going on this planet, and we need to heed the warnings, take caution, and keep up with the information. This is Scott from Planet X News and the Nibiru channel. Thank you for watching.